All right, so today we are going deep on decentralized AI and specifically this project called Bittensor. I've been seeing it everywhere lately, and you've obviously been doing your research. You sent me a ton of stuff on Bittensor, and especially their TAO token. It seems like you're really trying to get a handle on this whole corner of the crypto world. So I think a good place to start would be this Bittensor for Beginners guide you sent over.
Yeah, it's definitely a good starting point.
Okay, cool. So it says here that Bittensor is like this decentralized protocol where AI models can train and reward each other. Am I reading that right?
Yep, you got it. It's
You know,
basically, it's
sounds
like a network,
yeah.
a global network of these different AIs, all connected and learning from each other.
So it's not like all these AIs stuck in some company's lab somewhere.
Exactly. It's a different approach. Instead of being isolated,
Hmm.
they can tap into the collective knowledge of the entire network.
Wow, that's pretty mind-blowing. That's like straight out of science fiction. AI collaborating and learning together. But where does this TAO token come in? The guide mentions that it's trading at, hold on, let me get this right, $572.50
Wow. Yeah, that's right.
with a 24-hour volume of over $668 million. That's a lot of zeros.
It is, and that just shows you the kind of interest we're seeing right now. And then there's the limited supply. Only 21 million TAO tokens will ever exist.
Oh, and I remember seeing something about a halving event in 2025.
Right. So that basically means the rate at which new TAO tokens are created gets cut in half. It's a way to control inflation and potentially increase the value.
So if I'm understanding this right, this limited supply plus this halving event could mean TAO goes even higher.
It's definitely possible.
Okay, but let's step back for a second. Why should someone who's, made me do all this, why should they care about decentralized AI?
It's a good question, and I think the answer is about control and access. Right now, most AI is controlled by a few big companies. Decentralized AI is trying to change that.
So it's about creating a more level playing field.
Yes, exactly. It's about making sure everyone can benefit from AI advancements.
I can see why you're excited about it. Now, the guide also mentions Binance and Coinbase as places where people can trade TAO. Those are two of the biggest names in crypto, right?
Absolutely. Both are really popular exchanges, but they each have their own strengths.
So tell me a bit more about those.
Well, Binance is known for having a wider selection of cryptocurrencies, and their fees are generally lower. Coinbase, on the other hand, it's often considered more user-friendly. It's very beginner-friendly, you know, and they have the strong reputation for security.
So it sounds like depending on your experience level and what you're looking for in an exchange, you might choose one over the other.
Exactly.
Now, moving on to this article from CoinMarketCap, it's titled, Week in AI, All Eyes on Bittensor as Decentralized AI Booms. Wow, they're not holding back on the excitement.
It's a pretty catchy title.
So it highlights the surge in AI tokens
Yeah.
and these decentralized AI projects, especially in Q4.
Right.
It also mentions this interesting tidbit about Bitcoin.
Oh, yeah? What about it?
It says that Bitcoin's strong performance in September often indicates positive trends for what they call altcoins. I'm assuming TAO falls into that category.
It definitely does.
Really?
Bitcoin kind of sets the tone for the entire market.
So when Bitcoin's doing well, it lifts all boats.
Pretty much.
And speaking of rising tides, this article says that TAO has jumped a whopping 74.9% in just a week.
Yeah, it's been on a tear lately.
That makes it the 27th largest cryptocurrency out there.
It's moving up the ranks quickly.
How does that compare to the rest of the market?
Well, the broader crypto market saw an 8.5% gain in the same time period. And even other AI tokens, on average, gained around 31.4%.
So TAO is really outperforming right now.
It seems like investors are particularly bullish on it.
They also mention a few other AI tokens doing well, like Commune AI, which saw a 167% increase.
It's another interesting project. It's actually a fork of Bittensor.
A fork? What does that mean?
It means it's built on a similar code base.
So kind of like a spin-off.
Yeah, you could think of it that way.
It's amazing how fast this sector is moving.
It really is.
Before we move on to other stuff, I wanted to touch on some news from the weekly roundup. One item that caught my eye was about Kamala Harris pledging to support AI growth. Now, obviously, we're focused on decentralized AI, but what could this kind of political support mean for the field in general?
I think it's a big deal. Having someone like Kamala Harris come out in support of AI could signal positive changes in regulations and funding, not just in the U.S., but potentially globally.
Sounds like an endorsement of AI's potential.
Yeah, it shows that governments are taking it seriously.
Okay, and there's also news about Bittensor's upcoming EVM smart contract launch. Now, I'm not a tech expert, but I know smart contracts are a big deal in the crypto world.
They are. They're like self-executing agreements written in code.
So why is this launch significant for Bittensor?
Well, EVM stands for Ethereum Virtual Machine. It's the most widely used platform for smart contracts.
So by launching EVM-compatible smart contracts, Bittensor is opening itself up to a larger ecosystem.
Exactly. It could lead to a ton of new developers and applications.
More developers, more applications, more possibilities.
It's a potential game changer.
Now, last piece of news I wanted to touch on. Chromia has launched this $20 million fund, specifically for data and AI ecosystems.
That's huge.
What does this tell us about the industry's confidence in decentralized AI?
It's a big vote of confidence. Chromia is putting their money where their mouth is. It shows they really believe in the long-term potential.
So to sum up, we've got Bittensor and this TAO token that's been on fire. Government support seems to be growing. Advancements in AI models are coming fast. And major players are investing in this space.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground. It's safe to say things are heating up in the world of decentralized AI.
No kidding. We'll be back in a minute to talk about those upcoming AI models. GPT-5, Claude 3, Llama 3, and what they could mean for all of this. We'll also dive into the role of companies like NVIDIA. They're making some big moves in the AI hardware game. Stay tuned.
So before we got sidetracked by the news, you were talking about that Chromia investment. That $20 million for data and AI, that's a pretty clear sign that they believe in this stuff, right?
Absolutely. It shows a lot of confidence. But it's not just the money that's got people excited. There are these new AI models coming out, GPT-5, Claude 3, Llama 3. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on how they might impact the decentralized AI world.
Honestly, these things sound like they're straight out of the future. For those of us who aren't, AI experts, could you give us a quick rundown? What are these models and why are they such a big deal? Yeah, sure. So they're examples of what we call large language models, or LLMs. Basically, they're AI systems trained on a ton of text data. And that lets them do all sorts of crazy things, like generating text that sounds like a human wrote it, translating languages, writing different kinds of content, even answering your questions in a really informative way.
So it's like having a super smart AI assistant at your fingertips.
That's a good way to put it. And these new ones, GPT-5, Claude 3, Llama 3, they're supposed to be even more powerful, which opens up a whole new world of possibilities.
So imagine that power, combined with the accessibility of a decentralized network like Bittensor.
Exactly. The potential is huge.
But doesn't that also raise some concerns? I mean, with great power comes great responsibility, right? We've all seen those movies where the AI takes over.
Yeah, that's always a concern with AI. But honestly, it's a concern whether AI is centralized or decentralized.
So it's not specific to Bittensor or anything?
No, it's a broader issue. But that's one of the things people like about decentralized AI.
What do you mean?
Well, it's more resistant to manipulation by any single entity.
Because the power is distributed across the network.
Exactly. It's not all concentrated in one place.
Okay, that makes sense. But we
Yes.
still need to be careful, right? Make sure things don't go off the rails.
Absolutely. That's why it's so important to have clear ethical guidelines and governance mechanisms in place.
So it's not just about the tech itself, it's about how we manage it and make sure it's used responsibly.
Exactly.
Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about companies like NVIDIA. They're killing it right now. Their earnings were through the roof last quarter, mainly because of the demand for their high-powered chips, which are essential for AI development. So where do they fit into this whole decentralized AI thing?
Well, NVIDIA is definitely a major player in AI hardware. Their GPUs are used to train many of the most advanced AI models.
But wouldn't that make them kind of like a gatekeeper?
It could in a centralized system,
right.
but one of the beauties of decentralized AI is that it doesn't rely on any single hardware provider.
So NVIDIA's not the only game in town.
Not necessarily. As new hardware solutions emerge, they can be integrated into the decentralized network.
So it keeps things open and competitive.
Exactly.
That's a big difference from the traditional tech world.
It is. It's a different way of thinking about things.
It seems like this whole decentralized AI movement is really shaking things up.
It is. It's raising a lot of big questions.
Speaking of big questions, I have one that's been on my mind this whole time.
Let's hear it.
Do you think decentralized AI could actually become the dominant model for artificial intelligence? Or will the big tech companies just continue to call the shots?
That's the million-dollar question. If I knew the answer, I'd be retired on a beach somewhere.
Haha, fair enough.
But seriously, it's impossible to say for sure. What I can say is that decentralized AI is a powerful alternative.
So it's a real contender.
I believe so. We're seeing more and more people, drawn to the principles of openness and collaboration. That's what decentralized AI is all about.
It's not just about the tech, it's about a different philosophy.
Exactly.
But let's be realistic. Decentralized AI has a lot of challenges to overcome.
It does.
There's the complexity of managing a decentralized network.
And the need to attract top talent. It's a new field, so finding experienced people can be tough.
It sounds like a lot of work.
It is, but it's exciting work, and I think it has the potential to change the world.
Yeah, it really is fascinating to think about. Like, we're not just talking about some new gadget here. This is about, like, how we organize ourselves as a society, how we manage these really powerful technologies.
I agree. It's about a fundamental shift in our thinking, and it's happening now. We're right in the middle of it.
So after all this, after everything we've talked about today, about Bittensor and TAO and the future of AI, there's one question that I keep coming back to, and I bet our listener is wondering the same thing.
Yeah, I think I know where you're going with this.
Okay, so do you really believe that decentralized AI can actually become the dominant model? Or will the big companies, Google, Microsoft, whoever, will they just keep calling the shots?
It's the question everybody's asking.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't have a crystal ball.
Yeah.
But I can tell you this. Decentralized AI is a real force to be reckoned with.
So you're saying it have a chance?
More than a chance. We're already seeing a shift in power. People are looking for alternatives. They want more transparency, more control. And that's what decentralized AI offers.
But it's still early days, right?
Oh, absolutely.
There are a lot of challenges ahead.
For sure.
Like, how do you even manage a decentralized network at that scale?
That's a big one. And then there's a whole issue of talent. Finding people with the right skills to build this stuff.
Because it's not like they teach decentralized AI 101 in college yet.
Not yet.
But you seem optimistic.
I am. I really am. I think the potential benefits are just too big to ignore.
Okay, so let's wrap this up. We've covered a lot of ground today, learned about Bittensor, TAO, the whole decentralized AI movement. We talked about the potential, the challenges, the big questions. It's been a wild ride.
It has, and we're just getting started.
That's the crazy part. This is just the beginning of the story. So, to our listener out there, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Keep exploring, keep learning, and who knows, maybe you'll be the one to write the next chapter.
The future is wide open.
And that's a wrap on another deep dive. Until next time, stay curious,